Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Phil Peavy, and I'm the Planning Environmental Manager for the Division of Intermodal. And are y'all able to see my screen? Because I'm not seeing it on this on my display.
We can see it, Phil.
Okay, great. All right, so in this session, we're basically just going to give you a short update of what planning's been working on, some of the projects and some of the studies and activities that we've been doing. The first thing I'd like to do, though, is just go over who is on the planning team now. So we have a number of different planners now. We've been able to fill most of our positions, all but one. We have Matt Wilson, who's the mobility manager, and he's been working on the Rural and Human Services Transportation Plan. He works with Let's Ride, and he's also a project manager for the regional TDP projects. We have Jonathan McLeod. He's one of our transit planners, and he's working on the Transit Development Plan Guidebook, and he's also a project manager on the regional TDPs. He also works with the 5303, 5304 program as a grant project manager. We have Shanae Johnson, who's one of our transit planners, and she's working on the 5303, 5304 procedure manual, which you'll hear a little bit more about today, and will hopefully be available here in the next couple of months. She also works with 5303, 5304 as a grant project manager, and then she's worked with a number of the MPOs, regional commissions, and then she's also working on some of the regional TDP projects as a project manager. And then hopefully we should be advertising the only vacant position we have, which is actually a transit/rail planner in the next month or so. So be on the lookout if you're interested in an exciting career with GDOT. Feel free to apply. All right, first thing I want to just really kind of go over a couple of different things here. One being the statewide plan and the 2022 implementation report. Now, what is the statewide transportation plan? It basically describes the state of Georgia's or the state of transit in Georgia while offering a glance at future transit in the state through 2050. Now, the 2020 statewide transit plan aims to improve access and connectivity with a particular focus on rural and small urban communities and is a component of GDOT's multimodal approach to providing transportation throughout the state of Georgia. Now, some of the goals of the plan include providing a safe and suitable transit network, optimizing public transit programs to best meet public transit systems and travelers' needs, ensuring public transit coverage across the state to support mobility and access for all, connect rural transit to regional and urban centers, and then finally to leverage technology and innovation to support public transit ridership and performance. Now, in addition to the statewide transit plan, each year we put out a statewide transit plan implementation report. Now, we've only put out two. Ms. Smith puts those out at the end of each calendar year. And in the most recent one, we had quite a couple of things that improvements throughout the state with transit. We had an addition of two rural transit services in a couple of counties. We had expansion of counties with local TDPs. We now have up to 98 counties with local transit development plans. With the addition of two regional transit development plans. We had expansion of providers using GTFS data and are providing data to third-party platforms. And then we had expansion of providers with websites. Now we have 84 providers throughout the state with websites, and we're hoping to increase all these numbers in the upcoming year. And if you want more information on what is included in the statewide transit plan or what we've completed as part of the recommendations in plan in the 2021-2022 implementation reports, you can find them on our website that I've listed here. Now, next, I just want to take just a quick minute and go over a couple of our completed and studies and some of the studies that we're currently working on. We recently completed the Rural Transit and Human Services study. Now, this is the state's third update to the plan that addresses rural transit and human services transportation statewide. Now, we did do two previous plans. One was completed in 2007, one in 2012. So this is the most updated plan. And this plan helps GDOT better understand rural transit, human service transportation, and non-emergency medical transportation, and provide recommendations while working alongside the statewide transit plan, as well as the statewide transportation plan and the statewide strategic plan, also known as SWTP and SSTP. Now, the goal of this study was to develop recommendations for coordination between GDOT, Department of Human Services, and Department of Community Health to help develop statewide mobility management program. So if you want more information on that study, it will be on our website in the next few weeks. We also recently completed 2 regional transit development plans, one in the Georgia Mountain Regional Commission area and one in the Southwest Georgia Regional Commission area. And both of these plans are also on our website. And a little bit later in the presentation, Jonathan's going to give you more of an update on what's going on with the TDPs. Now, some of the current studies and activities. This is more of an activity than an actual study. We've expanded the Mobility for All grant to be statewide. It was initially a pilot program that we were working with one of the regional commissions in, but now we've recently expanded it, and it's going to allow us to work statewide with the regional commissions and transit agencies to fully incorporate public transit, human service transportation, and non-emergency transportation services throughout the state. So if you are interested in more information on this program, feel free to contact our mobility manager, Matt Wilson. He'll also be presenting some information later in this presentation, and I'll have his contact information on the final slide. Some of the other current studies that we have ongoing include a number of transit development plans throughout the state, regional transit development plans actually. And Jonathan McLeod is going to come on now and give you a little bit more of an update on what is going on with those plans. So Jonathan, are you here?
Yes, I'm here, and good morning. How's my volume? Can I get a thumbs up from at least one person who can hear me?
Sounds good.
All right, great. All right, folks. So it's great to be with you all again this year for the subrecipient workshop. I'm just going to provide a brief update here as to where we are with these particular plans. I do want to just go ahead and start off by thanking all the regional commissions and really all the transit partners who've been working with us on this initiative. And so why are we actually conducting this here study? So a few years back, the department released a statewide transit plan, and in there were a number of needs that were identified, chief among those being the need to expand rural transit options to parts of the state with limited access to transit and or no transit options at all. As we know, there are some counties that have no public transit or very little. And so GDOT sought to address that by developing the regional transit development plans meant to take a closer look at the unique needs of the state, region, and region. And I see it kind of it went a little, can you go back to the slide? Yeah. And we've also launched a website that we have that will house all of these TDPs, the current TDPs and the ones that we're completing. I'll drop those links to the chat here when I finish these next few slides, so you can keep those in your back pocket if you just happen to want to take a look at those particular websites. We also have a TDP manual that's meant to help local transit agencies conduct their local TDPs. It's pretty much a step-by-step guide that can help you with local TDPs. So go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so what is a regional TDP? A regional TDP identifies transit needs and informs future transit system investments. It assists residents in developing a transit vision. It has a 20-year horizon and is updated every 5 years. And these plans are supported through grants from the FTA and FHWA. Next slide. I like to call these the 4 C's of transit development planning. I like to begin with the last one here, consolidation, because it pretty much encompasses all of the rest. Consolidation, a regional consolidation involves multiple transit agencies in one region merging together in one transit agency to provide transit services. In order to reach that goal, we'll need to collaborate, coordinate, and connect with folks out there to reach that goal. Next slide. This slide here just goes over all of the active TDPs that we are currently working on. And in the end, once we get our recommendations, the funding opportunity will be the Transit Trust Fund Program, the TTFP. So, it'll be our goal to, once we, complete all of the TDPs, we have funding opportunities to help implement some of those recommendations. And with that, I'll pass the mic. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. If I can take control here. Okay, great. Awesome. My name is Matthew Wilson. I serve as the mobility manager here at Georgia DOT. And today I'll be talking about our Rural Transit and Human Service Transportation Regional Pilot Program through our FTA Mobility for All grant award. There we go. Perfect. For some background, some may know this, but there are currently 3 separate state agencies that administer rural and human services transportation systems in Georgia to provide public transit, human services transportation, and non-emergency medical transportation. Each system is administered by a different state agency, GDOT, the Department of Human Services, and the Department of Community Health. Coordination exists at the state, regional, and local levels. However, each agency system operates independently using a variety of service delivery models with differing requirements. Each agency provides oversight of the different federal compliance requirements. GDOT administers the Federal Transit Administration's 5311 Rural Transit and 5307 Small Urban Transit Grant programs, contracting with subrecipients across the state to operate public transit systems for rural and small urban populations, utilizing federal, state, and local sources to fund these programs. The DHS coordinated system provides transportation for seniors, low-income individuals, individuals with disabilities, and access to vocational training. The DHS system is funded using federal, state, and local fund sources, including HHS fund sources such as Title 11B, Title 3B, Social Service Block Grants. DHS also administers Georgia's FTA 5310 grant program. DHS contracts with transportation providers in each of the 12 DHS regions to provide services to their customers. DCH operates the state's non-emergency transportation system, providing transportation to medically necessary services for eligible Medicaid members. The system is funded by CMS federal dollars and state funds, and DCH contracts with brokers in each of the 5 DCH regions. The brokers then subcontract out with transportation operators to provide services to members. In October of 2019, US DOT Secretary Chow announced the FTA Mobility for All grant opportunity. In June of 2020, the FTA announced $3.5 million in grants for 17 projects in 16 states. GDOT was luckily awarded $120,000 to implement a rural transit and human services transportation pilot program, hire a statewide mobility manager, and to develop a statewide mobility management program. Our original focus of the pilot was in the CRC region to develop a regionally coordinated system. We have since expanded this out to statewide. So we are currently trying to identify and work with other regional commissions that are interested in a regional system. As stated in previous slides, the state of Georgia administers 3 systems to provide this public transit services. In the Coastal Regional Commission, this relationship is detailed on the slide. Currently, CRC, via their Coastal Coaches program, operates was 62 buses. That might have changed since the slide was developed, and covers a service area of 10 counties. Both GDOT and DHS contract with CRC as the area's rural transit operator and coordinated transportation contractor. CRC operates a regional system, thereby virtually eliminating county boundaries, allowing passengers to travel throughout the region more efficiently using resources and expanding transit options. The DCH NEMT broker for this area is MotiveCare. Currently, MotiveCare uses various subcontractors to provide transportation to Medicaid members. And so the goal of this pilot is to have a regional system and have CRC be a recipient of all 3 transit system program services, where CRC will continue to provide rural transit and HST coordinated service and also be responsible for some NEMT trips via the MotiveCare contract. And so this is a high-level glance of what it could look like, what a relationship could look like. And again, this is the Coastal Regional Commissions area. We are looking to expand this out statewide to additional regional commissions and regional service providers. And so with that, if there are no questions, I'll hand it over to Shanae.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I will be presenting on, just try to take control here. One moment. Okay, Phil, I'm not able to take control of the slides here, so you could handle these slides and I'll just go ahead and present. All right, everyone, I'm Shanae Johnson. I'm a transit planner here at GDOT, and I'll be kind of going through our 5303 and 5304 procedure manual that we're currently working on, and this will be available to you all in a couple of months. So what this procedure manual really entails, it summarizes any information that is relative to the grant application process. So this includes any forms, any exhibits and certifications, any program management requirements, and anything that would enable our applicants or subrecipients to request federal funding. So this will include the award, the pre-award, the award, the post-award, and also the award closeout requirements under the FTA. We're going to move on to the next slide. So the purpose of this manual here is to provide detailed guidelines to both the GDOT staff and also our subrecipients in regards to these grants. With these guidelines, we'll be able to aid you in completing more detailed applications, and this will also maximize your probability for funding. So also within this procedure manual, it will describe the specific roles and responsibilities throughout the grant application process. And this will enable us to, one, streamline the process, but for our subrecipients to have like a point of contacts for each stage of this cycle. And then lastly, it will also provide GDOT staff guidance on how to look over the subrecipients' oversight or any small discrepancies that are typically gone through the WIS line. So we're going to move on to the next slide. And we're going to talk about the activities that are eligible for these. So anything that is transit planning related or activities that are qualified under the 5303 and 5304 grants. We have a couple examples here on our screen. We'll provide more details in the procedure manual, but I'll walk through a couple examples. So any of these studies that are related to the operations or capital requirements for public transportation projects, any activities that are also related to previous fundings, if you're hoping to do a transit project of something that was previous, an evaluation of that transit project, anything that will related to the enhancement of a previously transit system that will enable it to be more usable or community friendly, short and long range transportation planning, tip development, any computer hardware, software that is related to planning activities. So these are just a couple examples. So in essence, anything that is related to the planning, the designing, the engineering, the studying of public transportation project or transit activities are activities that are eligible under this program. So I will pass it over to Phil to do our closing.
Hey, thanks everyone. So at this time, we are happy to answer any questions you might have related to any of these topics or any other transit planning questions that you might have. I've also included everyone that presented today, the contact information on the slide. So if you don't want to ask the questions here, feel free to contact myself or any of the other intermodal planning team members, and we'll be happy to assist you. All right, since I am hearing no questions, this will conclude our portion of the presentation. And thanks, everyone. We appreciate it. Y'all have a great morning.